Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the microphone that we're using for this video, which is the COMICA CVM-VM30. Let's have a look. So guys, this microphone is really exciting, and I'll be honest, it has completely changed the way that I do filmmaking and content creation. Now, why is this microphone so exciting? Why is it different than any other shotgun microphone? Well, if you'll notice, I'm not sure if you can see in the video, I'll do my hands like this, right, all around it. There's no cord. So this is actually a wireless boom mic, which we haven't seen ever before. Apart from some mods and different builds that people have put together using the Rhodes and different lavalier packs, which in theory you can turn any boom mic into a wireless mic, but this one is completely wireless on its own. Guys, this is a 2.4 gigahertz cardioid condenser microphone. That's a lot of words. And they advertise that this microphone has a 100-meter range whenever you're in a clear environment and a 20-meter range when you're filming, say, through walls and other challenging environments. Of course, it is wireless, but it also offers a wired in function, which we're going to talk about later, and I use a lot. Okay, so let's talk about what you're going to get if you were to buy this microphone. It comes in a really nice canvas case, which I appreciate. The microphones I've had in the past, they normally don't come with a case unless they're on the higher end. So for something budget friendly, it's really nice that it comes in a case. Inside of the case, you're of course going to get the microphone. You're going to get the shotgun mount, which is a nice, really sturdy mount I found, and I use it on a lot of shoots. You're going to get the receiver, which is what's going to capture the signal and then pipe it into your camera. You're going to receive 2 audio cables, one for cameras with the 1/8 inch jack, and then one for smartphones. I've yet to use the smartphone adapter just because I do not actually have the correct adapter for the iPhone 15 Plus, but I will be getting that soon and testing this mic out with that camera. You're also going to get a special mic clip, which I'm using right here, which is perfectly fitted for this microphone, and I do suggest using this one because it is a pretty unique size. In addition to those things, you of course get just your standard foam windscreen, which you see on the microphone right now. Now guys, for the price of between $150 and $200, this is a lot of stuff, and I really appreciate COMICA's attention to detail and just their willingness to pack a lot into this package, because they could easily charge the same price for the microphone and receiver alone. Alright guys, so let's talk about some of the key features. This microphone delivers a 48 kilohertz 24-bit sound quality, which is really good, and I found that this microphone sounds amazing right out of camera with little post-production needed. The microphone also gives you a very low latency, and I use this on some Zoom calls and different interviews that I did, and I can report that after recording some of those, I didn't really notice any latency at all. So maybe the low latency is just something they put in there for safety in case someone's camera system or Zoom recorder is producing the latency and they are not liable for that. But in my experience, the latency is non-existent. The microphone itself charges via USB-C cable, which is also included. I did fail to mention that, but you get 50 hours of wired in power and 7 hours of wireless power, which is amazing. And if you're using it, say for long interviews and things like that, you can always just plug it in and have it powered with a power bank, a V-mount battery, or just, into your regular AC. The battery inside of this microphone also supports charging while in use. So if you are using something like a V-mount battery or going through the USB on your camera and it does send power out, it will actually charge while it's being used, which is really cool in my opinion. The microphone also features a low-cut filter option. That way, if you do have a situation where you have some noise that you want to cut out, you can do that. I haven't had to use it yet, but it is really cool that that option is available. Of course, on the mic, you have the option to monitor straight into the mic via headphones, and the mic itself has a lot of buttons on it. It has a button that you can switch between wired and wireless, as well as that low pass filter that we talked about before. The microphone also has a really nice LED display that gives you audio meters and some other information that is really helpful, and it's something that you don't have to try to look back at your camera for if you just need to have a quick glance at the settings. And one of my favorite features of all of the mic is the actual gain control on the very end of the mic here. I'll put some images on screen. Situations where you need to quickly turn up and lower the volume, this is really nice. Now normally I actually set this between say 7 and 8 and find that that is where I get the best quality audio. But again, if you're just in a situation where you need to turn it down, maybe you notice that the environment you're in gets really loud all of a sudden, and you can't get quick enough to your camera settings or your camera dials, you can always turn it down on the mic, and it's a super cool and unique feature to have. Okay guys, now we're just going to talk about the easy use of this system and how it's changed my filmmaking and how I've used it in the field and how it's performed. I personally find audio to be the most important part of content creation and also the most challenging. In the past, I've used all the different microphones you can think of, from Sennheiser to Rode to Aztec to pretty much all of them, even the really cheap brands you would get from Amazon. And over the years, I found microphones that are really good, but it's always a pain to set it up with an external recorder, XLR cables going all over the place, etc., etc. The reason this has changed my filmmaking is because audio is now not as hard to get, in my opinion, and it has so many use cases that I've found that this is pretty much the only mic that I've been using. A couple different use cases I've used it for. As you guys have probably seen, I do use it on pretty much all my YouTube videos. Even if you don't see it, I'm probably using it. If it's a situation where I can't hold the microphone, I will actually put it up on top of the camera on the shock mount, and that works really well, especially with the gain control on the back. I can turn it up and turn it down as I'm talking to kind of get my levels. Then a lot of times I will use it just on a regular music stand, microphone stand, which you're seeing now. I've used it in a lot of interviews on documentaries where I put it inside of my blimp and then onto a boom pole, and then that is mounted to a C-stand, and it's super handy because I don't have to run that wire through the boom pole, which anybody who has those types of boom poles knows is the XLR cables often kind of short out over the years in those. So now I don't have to worry about that or cables, which is really nice. Now they do say that you get a little less audio quality when going wireless, but personally for what I do, I don't produce Netflix level films and stuff like that. So if I would obviously have a sound guy and he'd have $10,000 worth of equipment. For what I do with the content creation and the short documentaries I make and the content I make for brands and companies, the audio coming out of the wireless part of this system is perfect. Now, the times that I will use the wired in option is whenever I'm actually mounting the microphone on top of either my Red Scarlett or the EOS R or the R6 or the EOS M for that matter. That's the time where I will use the wireless, and what's really nice about that is it has some intelligence built into it to where whenever it is plugged into a camera, it knows that, and when you turn it off, it turns the microphone off. And again, COMICA, thank you so much for incorporating this, because there's nothing worse than, especially as DIY filmmakers, when we have our rig built up, we have to go around and turn off like 6 or 7 things. It's nice to know when I turn off the camera, the microphone's going to turn off, and it's not going to go dead in idle time whenever we're shooting a project, and then when I go to turn it back on, oh no, the microphone's dead. That is not an issue with this mic, and I really appreciate that feature. Now, another use case that I really like, and again, like they just packed a lot into this microphone, is you can plug this straight into your MacBook or Windows desktop, and it will come up as a microphone in the settings. So it's really nice. I've done some different interviews and Zoom calls and pitches over the internet where I wanted it to just look really good. So I was able to set up, my mirrorless camera and then wire this straight into the Zoom software and choose it as the microphone. And I've even had compliments of people saying, wow, Force's audio sounds really good and the video looks really good. And I've got a video coming out about a trip I'm about to take to Las Vegas, and there's a lot of factors of why I'm going on this trip, but a very small but thing to mention, I do think, is when I did the interview for this trip, I did use this system and I used this microphone, and the person who was interviewing me actually mentioned how good everything sounded and looked, and they appreciated that effort. So yeah, this microphone has been awesome. Okay guys, and finally, comparing it to other microphones in the industry, there are obviously better boom mics that exist, one of which is Sennheiser. They make really good microphones, and when I was working for a TV show for a couple of years. Those were the mics that we used for our boom mics, and undoubtedly the sound was better in those, but not $3,000 better in my opinion, because that was the price difference between those microphones and this one. In addition, I have been using for years an Aztec mic, which ranges for about $300 on Amazon for most of my documentary work and my client work. And although that mic has done amazing, I actually think this mic sounds better, and I have the wireless feature. So I'm really not using that mic anymore, or not a lot. It is nice to have two good quality boom mics, so I'm grateful that I have both of them. But when I just need one, I'm pretty much always using the COMICA. In addition to that, you know, I've had the Rode Go, the Rode Pro, and I have the Rode Go Mini mic. I'm not going to get rid of any of those because those are really good mics to have on a B and C camera for scratch audio, or if we're doing sports documentaries and we're all over the field, it's nice to have those mics on the cameras, because if the crowd goes wild and I need that audio, I can pull it from certain cameras. But when it comes to just like the main microphone that we're using for interviews, talking head pieces, and YouTube content, this is the mic for me. And honestly, I'm really close to buying a second. Okay, if you haven't already looked up how much this mic goes for, I'm sure you guys are wondering that. And at the time that I purchased this microphone, I think I paid around $170 on Amazon. It has since gone down $10 or so. I found it in several places for $159. So yeah, just looking at all the stuff that you just saw, all the features, you've heard the quality of this mic. If you haven't watched probably my last 30 videos on this channel, go back and watch them and just assess the quality yourself. The quality is really good, and all the things that it comes with, and the fact that it's truly wireless, and really the first microphone we've ever seen like that, for it to be $159 is really a steal. And personally, if I'd have known how good it was going to be, I would have just went ahead and spent $320 and gotten two of them. Okay guys, that's going to do it for our review of this COMICA CVM-VM30 microphone. I think I got that right. I really love this microphone. I take it absolutely everywhere. In most of my videos, you'll actually see me holding it, especially if it's more about information and I'm just trying to get good, clean audio into it. The last thing I want to ask you guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really helps us continue to make these videos. And those of you who have been with us since the beginning, we are approaching 500 subscribers. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the comments, the positive comments, the critical comments. I appreciate all of those. And yeah, we are just going to keep pumping out videos for you guys, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.